A local icon made a major announcement today, but haven't we already been there, done that?
I'm retiring. For good.
The greatest of all time, Tom Brady, announcing his retirement from professional football on his social media this morning. The announcement comes exactly 1 year after he announced his retirement the first time, only to change his mind 40 days later. Brady is a 7-time Super Bowl champion, 6 here in New England, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 15-time Pro Bowler, and #1 in NFL history for completions, pass attempts, and quarterback wins. So, can we finally start referring to Brady's career in the past tense? With me to discuss is Guregian, sports columnist with the Boston Herald, where she's covered Tom Brady and the Patriots since 2007, and Ben Volin, senior NFL reporter with the Boston Globe. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
So, Ben, let me start with you. Is it really for good? This is the question everybody wants to know. It's deja vu, as you were saying just a moment ago. We're here again.
Yeah, I had to check the calendar first. Is there a February Fool's joke or something? Because it was just exactly a year ago to the day that Tom Brady announced this the first time. And I'll be honest, there's a part of me that's not going to fully believe that he's retired until the season kicks off this September and Tom Brady's not on a team. That said, I do think this time it's for real. It's time. He's won everything there is to win, accomplished everything there is to accomplish. He's 45 going on 46. His kids are getting older. He's got some family issues off the field, divorcing his wife this past season. It's time for Tom Brady. He's got his health. He's got everything he could ever possibly want. So it's definitely time.
And he's got $375 million in the offing with Fox News, which we'll get to in a moment. But Karen, you've been covering Brady forever. Is there something that changed in the man that you recognized that this makes sense right now?
Well, I don't know if anything changed. I think he just got a little smarter about his future, maybe. His initial goal was to play till 45, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's 45. He got through his age 45 season, and that was the goal. And there were only like a handful of places or situations that would be suitable to him or fit his desire to win. And, looking at it in the big picture, it just was no longer worth it.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to pick up on that point. People say that, essentially he was out of options about where he could play. Was there anything left? Did he run out all the options? Because he has been incredibly strategic throughout his career. There is a reason, in addition to his epic talent, that he got as far as he did.
Yeah, to be honest, this announcement today surprised me because I did think that he was going to be playing next year. He gave every indication.
Where did you think he'd be playing?
So I thought he definitely was going to have options, whether it was returning to the Buccaneers. That's a team that has proven over the last 3 years they will do whatever it took to keep Tom Brady happy. And if he said he wanted to come back for a 4th season, I think they would have accepted him with bells on. So I think absolutely staying in Tampa would have made sense. Las Vegas, joining Josh McDaniels with the Raiders. San Francisco, returning home and playing for his childhood team. The 49ers suddenly need a quarterback with Brock Purdy having hurt his elbow. So Tom Brady, even at age 45, had a pretty good season this year. The Bucs struggles, but it wasn't Tom Brady's fault. And I really did think by his comments from the last month that he was still talked about how much he loved the process. I really did think he was going to play next year. So this caught me by surprise. And I think there definitely would have been a spot for him somewhere next year.
Well, Karen, to that point then, how much is this just about legacy at this point, too? We have to think that Tom Brady was very concerned about how he goes out and how he's ultimately remembered. I kind of think that the public memory is not going to remember this last season, which is probably his weakest for the way it ended. But where is legacy in how he makes his decisions?
Yeah, I think I agree that, whatever happened this year isn't going to change people's view of him. But if he started stacking years like that, it's like your lasting image. And I agree with Ben. He could still play. There's no question about it. He could still help a team win. But in terms of doing what he wants to do, win another championship, the field narrowed down as to where exactly he could go for that to happen. And to San Francisco, did he want to where he would be closer to his parents but miles away from his kids, he'd also have to learn a new offense. And again, there's just, do you want to do that when you're 46? He wouldn't have to do that in Vegas because he would jump right into Josh McDaniels' offense. But how close are the Raiders to winning? You know, all of these things factored in, and I think in the end, it was just time.
So I mentioned earlier this $375 million contract he has with Fox Sports to be some sort of personality over the course of 10 years. Is he going to join your side of the fence? What does the world look like with Tom Brady talking about the field rather than being on it?
That's a great question. And we're talking today about Tom Brady retiring from the NFL. He's retiring from playing in the NFL. I have a feeling he is not retiring from football. And obviously, as you said, he's got this reported 10-year deal with Fox Sports to be their #1 commentator. Ostensibly, it's to be in the booth, but you never quite know. In the NFL, these alternative broadcasts are big. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning have shown Tom Brady that there's a different way to do it. So maybe Brady gets involved with Fox Sports in a more non-traditional way. I know Fox Sports has the Super Bowl next week in Arizona, so I would think Brady's going to be front and center, maybe not necessarily on the game broadcast, but in the pregame, at the weekend's festivities. I think, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning have shown that even after you're done playing, there's still a lot of room in the NFL for legendary quarterbacks. So I think Brady will still be very much involved.
Well, I want to go to Karen for that. I keep feeling like you know Tom Brady exceptionally well because you've been around him and watching him for so long, but it really is hard to believe. And maybe we understand this from his struggle to really retire last year, that he can walk away, what it'll do to him to not be playing anymore and how he is going forward.
Yeah, I think that's such a tough thing for every athlete or most athletes to walk away. It's been their life forever, and for him, longer than most. But again, I think he was very conscious of, in his words, not wanting to quote unquote suck, in his final years. He didn't want to go out past the time he should. And I think he was very conscious of that. And while he didn't quite hit that stage this year, there were some cracks in the foundation. So I think he was very conscious of that. But I do love Ben's idea of doing something a little bit different, as opposed to just kind of being, the color analyst. Maybe he'll have his buddies, Julian and Danny Amendola and Gronk, and they'll compete with the Mannings. They'll have their own sit-down cast and crew for games. And I don't know. I can sort of see that happening.
Well, Ben, I hate to sour this by asking about Bill Belichick, but we started thinking about this, of course, after he left the Patriots. But as, again, we're looking at legacy, where does Bill Belichick fit into the Brady legacy?
I do think that with Brady going down to Tampa and winning the Super Bowl in his first year there without Bill Belichick, that did kind of tilt the balance of power in Brady's favor as far as who's more responsible for the dynasty. That said, these guys are going to be intertwined forever. It's always going to be Brady and Belichick, much in the same way Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. And it's no knock on Michael Jordan that he needed a great coach to get him over the top. And I think that's pretty much true for Brady as well. Brady was an all-time great quarterback, but Belichick, I think, really helped make him the greatest of all time. So obviously, towards the end of their 2-decade tenure, things got a little hairy between the two of them, but I give them a lot of credit for keeping it together for 20 years. Belichick, I'm sure, is not an easy boss to work for. And then when Brady came back in 2021 with the Buccaneers, they spent 25 minutes after the game alone in the locker room, catching up, breaking things down. So I really thought that was a nice moment between them. So certainly, it's always going to be Brady and Belichick hand in hand.
Okay, well, I'm going to, with the state's new online betting system over at Encore, I'm going to bet that we're not together this day in 2024, that this is for real. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.